We're here today because we're very disappointed at the grand jury finding yesterday afternoon that Nicolas Chavez killing was not a crime. That he was not murdered, but rather it was police business as usual. We object to that. There must have been a problem with presenting issues to the grand jury. The police chief, some months back, fired these individuals. He fired them for a reason. The chief called all of us community activists together and told us he was firing them because of poor judgment. Because of poor judgment. They shot him right there at that corner when Nicolas Chavez, he was totally incapacitated at this point, and he grabbed a spent taser that one of the officers had thrown in the ground because he was spent. He had already been shot. And if you understand anything about the tasers, is that they only shoot once or twice. They throw their cartridge and then they're dead. Only if you get up close to them. But these officers were 25 feet from Nicolas Chavez, and yet when he got hold of the taser that was useless, was discharged, they shot him execution style. There was no reason for that. And that is why Chief Acevedo fired these individuals, due to poor judgment. It's not racial, but it is poor judgment, poor training. And we're here to say that the grand jury made a serious mistake. And I hope they can live with themselves, because the family has been grieving for this many months, hoping to get justice for Nicolas Chavez. And today they're torn, they're heartbroken because there was no justice. And so today we're here to express our deep concern and anger of what happened. Now we have Mr. Chavez's wife here. If you would like her to come up and speak, let me see, who's next? Mr. Lira, Dr. Lira? Come say a few words, and then we'll have his wife. En español, ¿verdad? Dispensen. Estamos aquí ahora para llamar atención al gran jurado que falló en su responsabilidad de indagar a estos 4 oficiales que mataron al joven Nicolas Chavez en esta esquina. Lo mataron porque este joven ya estaba incapacitado, no podía levantarse porque ya lo habían baleado de las piernas. Entonces el joven agarró un taser que ya estaba descargado. Una de los oficiales, después que le tiraron con el taser, lo tiró porque ya estaba descargado. Entonces lo tomó en mano y es cuando lo fusilaron. Entre todos recibió más de 21 balas. Todos los policías balearon al mismo tiempo. Haz de cuenta una película esa como que lo ejecutaron. Entonces lo balearon, y entonces por eso el jefe Chief Acevedo los despidió. Por eso los corrió, porque dijo que usaron bad judgment, mal entendimiento, procesaron mal, no hubieran matado al joven porque la taser ya estaba descargada y ellos estaban a una distancia de 25 pies. Y les dijo, ustedes no actuaron bien. Y por eso los terminó, por eso los corrió. Y por eso el gran jurado hubiera hallado que estos oficiales no actuaron bien. Pero ahí en el gran jurado les dijeron que actuaron según su entrenamiento. No es así. El entrenamiento dice que cuando están presentados con un peligro, ellos bien sabían que esa taser descargada ya no era peligro. Aún así lo acribillaron a balazos. Entonces por eso estamos aquí, a llamar atención y que se haga justicia. Dr. Lira.
I am Dr. Lira, President of LULAC Council 4967. We are also here very concerned of the outcome of this situation. And perhaps something good is going to come out of this. and that is to look at the police reform initiatives. Make sure that we are spending our taxpayer dollars on mental health resources. Everything seems to be falling in that area. Our police officers need adequate training. They need also assistance with psychologists to help them to de-escalate the situations so we won't have tragedies like this. We here as LULAC Council 4967 implore the city to fund, to help our community so these types of tragedies do not happen anymore. Let's hope that we can work together with our city, our police officers, our communities, our families, to work together to ensure that something like this never happens to someone in our community. Thank you. Ahora en español. Ok. Hola, soy el doctor Sergio Lira, presidente de LULAC Concilio 4967. Y estoy aquí para decir que estamos un poco preocupados de esta decisión del jurado. Sin embargo, tenemos que implorar que tengan más recursos para estudios, para mentalmente ayudar a nuestra comunidad social y emocionalmente, con recursos que la ciudad y que preparen bien a nuestros policías, que busquen bien las reformas, las recomendaciones, las sugerencias que les han dado, que los entrenen bien. No es lógico que le den a una persona que está bajo una situación mental, que lo balaceen 20 veces. Debe de haber una forma de escalación para asegurar que estos tipos de tragedias ya no suceden en nuestra comunidad. Muchas gracias.
Hello, I'm V. Rodriguez. I'm LULAC president of 4968. I'm here with the family, Jessica Chavez, the wife.
I'm Jessica Chavez, the wife.
Get close to her.
I'm Jessica Chavez, the wife.
La esposa de Nicolas Chavez.
I don't know what to.
Sorry, give her a moment. As y'all all know, this is very, very painful to get this outcome from the actual DA. We did not expect this, especially how much video that we have out there, the proof, how they reacted towards an individual that supposedly picked up a taser that wasn't active no longer, and to shoot someone, 4 officers shooting one individual over 21 times. This is very painful for the family.
I don't know what my emotions.
It was very, very hard for Ms. Chavez to come out this morning. She's asking for prayers for the community, from the community, and she's asking for change from HPD.
Yes.
She's asking for much change.
They need to do something too. I don't see why Chief Arcevado fired him, so they should do something. He found something wrong in it. So why don't they do more?
We had the chief of police stand beside the mayor of the city and find something wrong with these officers, yet we're seeing in the future that this might be overturned. Why? Obviously, their moves doesn't mean anything.
They're just getting away with murder. That's it. It was murder. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. Can't breathe.
Jose, translate that a little bit.
In reality, this is what's
Get up
going
here.
on. You know, this is what's going on. As you said, we want change within HPD. We want change. Although the Chief Acevedo did fire these individuals, they were not found guilty and they were not indicted for this murder that they did. This young man was on his knees, had no weapons, was no threat,
You had 20 police officers here, and they didn't even remember 8 after they had already shot them. So that's what we're looking at. And I will continue and say, and I will stand firm, and I will not try to make it a racial thing because I don't think that it was. But had it been George Floyd, he made the news. So we won't go there. But anyway, with that being said,
what message are we sending out there?
The message that we're sending out there. Well, the message that we're sending out there.
Is that what we're sending out there?
Well, I mean, how many more times is this going to happen? That's what we're sending out there. Because if we don't do it, I mean, if we don't solve this now, it's going to happen to, it doesn't matter if you're Asian, it doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, it doesn't matter if you're African American, it doesn't matter if you're Indian, it doesn't matter if you're from Afghanistan. This young man was shot on his knees over 20 times while he was on his knees by HPD, and they were not found guilty. So we need to stop this. And when you find these individuals not guilty, that's a slap in the face for our community. It really is.
And we have the officers union president saying they follow training. If that's training, we need more trainings. That was a death sentence to that young individual there. That training is faulty and needs to change.
This is Nicolas Chavez right here.
This is Nicolas Chavez.
A young man that was going through mental illness. A young man that could have been helped. A young man that they could have sent someone, a specialist, to come out here and just counsel him. They had 20 police officers here that could have tackled him and helped him. And I'm sorry, senor, I'm sorry, but all apologies. They had 20 police officers here. They could have tackled him. They could have subdued him. They could have done what they did just to make sure that everybody was going to go home safe. And I know that some of you reporters, I could see it in your eyes, where this is sentimental to you, because you know that we're speaking the truth. This is not right. They could have tackled him, they could have tasered him, they could have done all kinds of other things to subdue him. Yet they shot him over 24 times.
While he was on his knees.
And that is wrong. And if we don't do something about this, then it's going to continue to happen. We're living in 2021. We saw this happen to Jose Campos Torres years back. And yet we're living in this age where we say, si se puede, y hasta la fecha no se ha podido. We got all these activists yelling, si se puede, si se puede. What good does that do? Hasta la fecha no se ha podido.
Mr. Morris. Oh, ¿quiere pregunta para el joven? Okay,
Sí, a ver, dígame.
He wants to ask some questions.
No, a ver, no, without due respect. A ver, dígame. Sí. Tener mejor entrenamiento para los jóvenes, porque la mayoría de los jóvenes que balacearon a Nicolas Chavez eran de 27 años para abajo. Mejor entrenamiento. Mejor entrenamiento, porque el que balaceó, vamos a hacer las facturas. La mayoría de las personas que balacearon eran de 27 para abajo. Mejor entrenamiento. José Vega. José Vega.
Thank y'all for coming. My name is W.R. Morris. I'm a longtime community activist, and my heart aches for what happened to Nicolas Chavez. We had a system that completely failed him. He was murdered by Houston police, and yet they can't find it within themselves to charge the individuals responsible for this. This is an injustice on our community. But like they did it to one of us, they can do it to all of us. So we're going to pursue this further than from right at this level, and it needs to be pursued because we as members of this community deserve to be treated better than they treat us, and we certainly don't deserve to be shot like a dog in a parking lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Folks, you heard it. Everybody's clamoring, saying that HPD needs more training. It's not enough. And also you have to have a mental health specialist when you know that there is somebody out there that is having mental issues or is suicidal, like in the case of this young man. The police were informed that he was being suicidal, that he was having mental issues. So they knew that. And at first, according to Chief Acevedo, they did everything right up to the point where they shot him to death. They were doing everything right. But so what does that show? Lack of training, and also you need to have a mental health specialist come out with them whenever there's a young man or woman in crisis, because otherwise we will continue to have this kind of ex officio assassinations, and it's time to stop. And as someone mentioned here, the black community gets a lot of attention, and that's good. It's good that they do, but we also want equal representation. We want our issues to come forward, to be shown, because we need to have some change. And as far as the grand jury, Kim Mogg is a good DA, but she has no control over the grand jury. Now we feel, although she's made a lot of reforms, we feel that there's more reforms to be made, because the grand jury does everything in secret. They don't disclose, and that's by law. That needs to go. We need to have transparent grand juries that is open to the public, that we can say or tell what happened, what went on, what convinced these grand jurors to no bail the officers, because clearly the police chief himself felt that they did wrong. That's why he fired them. Okay, and now the police union is bad-mouthing the ex-chief. The police union came out and they're saying that the ex-chief lied. He did not lie. He told the truth, and that's why he fired these officers. Thank you. Any questions? Preguntas. Necesita que lo diga en español. Está bien.
I got a question actually. Now the grand jury made their decision. What's next? What are you?
Okay, the next thing to do is, will be up to the family and their attorney, and we'll have to get together on this to see what is our next step going forward.
How would you feel the officers got their jobs back after arbitration?
Well, we feel that that's totally wrong, and I hear that the police union is all set to bring it for arbitration, to bring him back in. That would be a serious mistake, because it's sending a strong message. It's saying that it's okay to kill someone and you can always come back. Sí, ahorita ya hay pasos que está tomando la Unión de Policías para traer estos policías para atrás, a darle su trabajo otra vez. Eso sería el mensaje más malo que pueden dar, porque el mensaje que da es que cualquier policía puede matar a alguien y luego volver a su trabajo como si nada. Totalmente mal.
Si no se pudo hacer nada criminalmente, ¿se puede hacer algo en la Corte Civil?
Sí, acuerden que unos meses atrás estaba una demanda por millones de dólares que se les iba a otorgar, pero entonces lo apelaron y lo quitó el juez, Lee Rosenthal, me parece que es el juez, pero dijo que no estaba apropiado, que había varios problemas con la demanda, y por esa razón, y que los policías estaban siguiendo el entrenamiento del departamento, y por esa razón lo evacuó, lo anuló. Pero entiendo yo que todavía pueden volver y hacer otra demanda en contra de los policías que mataron a Nicolas Chavez. Así que todavía no se acaba esto. La primera parte sí, de que dijeron que no podían demandarlos, pero quién sabe, hay en el futuro. Por eso va a hablar ella con sus abogados y vamos a ver qué se puede hacer.
Is there plan to refile the lawsuit?
There is? Okay. You know, that's all we're going to say, because between her and her lawyer, but I understand that's a big possibility. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, big possibility that civilly.
Do you have a timetable for that?
No.
As of right now, not. There's not a timetable for that as of right now. But it is in process.
Sir, do you mind, I'm sorry, I think I missed your name and your title. Do you mind coming up here and saying it again for us?
What do you want to ask? I'm sorry?
What's your name, spelling, and your title, please?
Jose Vega, with LULAC, Council 4968. Yes, sir. But as of right now, you know, we're keeping that, you know, between the family and the attorneys. It might distinguish well, we need to keep that privately right now, as of right now, for the sake of the family. But nonetheless, though, there is, we're not going to stop here. We're not going to stop here. This is going to continue.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for being here today, even though we had inclement weather. But are there any more questions? Preguntas? Nada? Okay, opinion?
Extremely tough. Would you be able to speak on the answer some questions?
I can try.
Well, can you talk about the importance of having your witness today?
Can you be a little louder for us, please?
Sure, I see the urn is here. Can you speak about the importance of having the urn here?
The importance of having the urn here is that to show that he was murdered. There's no other statements about, you know, and he deserves to be put on there. He deserves to be put on the news media and shown, you know, he's here still. He might not be physically here, but he is still here, and he will forever be here. And I am his voice, and I will continue being his voice.
How's your life been the last year?
It's been hard. It's been very difficult for me. But I've been pushing through and doing what I can do for me and his stepchildren that he has. It's not the same anymore. But best thing I can do is stay as strong as I can.
Can we have your name, ma'am?
Jessica Chavez.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming here. Cuídense, que les vaya bien. Gracias.